Recently, I've heard a number of people call me a racist, or people like me a racist, because I happen to like Caitlin Clark, who's playing in the WNBA. Well, I like her because she's great, not because of the color of her skin. It's because she's a generational basketball player, the likes I haven't seen in a long time. And this goes back for me back in the 1960s when I was in college. I was at a little school in West Texas, had 5,500 students. And you knew everybody. Well, we had a basketball team, had a lot of black players on that basketball team, and nobody cared. They were part of us. They were part of our classes. We knew them. Well, they went on to win the NCAA championship in 1966 with an all-black team. Opened the doors for black players for years afterward. Well, some of those kids stayed in El Paso, Texas, where I'm from. One of them was Bobby Joe Hill. Well, Bobby Joe Hill became a legend in El Paso, and when he died, he had the biggest funeral the city had ever seen. He was that much loved. Basketball, sport, doesn't matter. You know, back in the 1990s, I saw the NBA. I was never a fan of the NBA, but they had this guy, Michael Jordan. Man, Air Jordan, I watched him, championships. This guy was beyond phenomenal. I didn't care the color of his skin. He was just that good. And yes, there were other players that were good back in those days, but hey, Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, you couldn't do better than that. And then, back in 1997, I was working at a radio station. I just started in WOWO, 50,000-watt station in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Started in March, but in April, there was a thing called the Masters Golf Tournament. And they had a young man in there playing who happened to be, well, biracial. His name was Tiger Woods. Masters, he was beating everybody by double strokes. Double strokes. He cleaned up. I was talking on the air. My newsman was Lee Berdorf, and we were marveling at how this kid could just smash everybody at the Masters. He won it, and ultimately they had to change the course to make it harder because Tiger made it so easy. Those are people that I looked at when I was growing up. I didn't care about the color of their skin. Yes, later on in life, other players came along. It didn't matter the color. I don't care. It just mattered as how good they were at doing their job. So yes, growing up, I was around kids of all colors. Didn't matter to me. Skin meant nothing. It was the content of your character I cared about. So regarding Caitlin Clark, well, she's been beat up by people in her league, and frankly, it doesn't look good and doesn't look correct. She's now injured, going to be out for a couple of weeks. But some of the stuff I've seen on TV, she's being hated by people, and I've used the word hated simply because she's good and she's white. Wrong, folks. The reason that the WNBA is becoming very popular is because of that little lady came along. In 2024, she generated 24, almost 25% of all the revenue that the WNBA got. And all these women who are currently earning $76,000 a year are going to get a big raise thanks to her. And they should be thankful. She's doing something that, well, nobody'd ever done. I happen to enjoy watching the games. I sit in front of my TV and watch. Have you seen the TV ratings for the NBA since she came along? They have grown massively. She's popular. She's doing commercials. She's got big endorsement deals. Great, good for her. Happy for her. It's brought people into the field house down in Indianapolis, Indiana, full crowds of 17,000 every time they play there. And when they go on the road, other teams have to go to bigger venues because everybody wants to see her play. So the hate that's being demonstrated by some of the other players in the league, sorry folks, you are beating up your golden goose. You might want to get smart about this. I don't care about the color of people. I care about the content of their character and their ability. There was Larry Bird back in the old days and Magic Johnson. I watched both of them because it was fun to watch. They were great. I watched the Olympic team with all the athletes out in the USA when we won the basketball thing. Man, you had a showpiece of group there. Great players. So will Caitlin Clark ultimately be on the U.S. Olympic team? That would be pretty cool. The point is, I don't like being called a racist because of the color of the person's skin that I happen to watch. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with their ability to play, what they bring to the game, and how exciting they are to see them win. So, color doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And I hate being called a racist because the people who are doing the calling are the racists themselves. My opinion, and I'm sticking to it.